Hey everyone, in today's tutorial we're going to learn how to make Aurora from Sleeping Beauty. So I've got some modelling paste and I've just coloured it in a mixture of baby pink and the fuchsia sugar flare, and I'm just rolling a cone shape. Now with this one I did Aurora sat over the edge of a cake, so I've flattened it down a little bit and just smoothing out any of the creases, and then we're going to create the line in the back of the dress, and this is going to allow the dress to fold over the side of the cake, and we're going to shape the top part of the dress up because that's going to create the bottom area of the figure. Just trim off any excess and then just try it again on the polystyrene dome, just to see how it fits size wise. Now if you wanted to do this stood up, you could just keep the dress quite rounded and put a kebab skewer through the whole thing to keep it up. So I'm just smoothing out any creases that have appeared from bending it over the dummy, and I've put a cocktail stick in the top of the dress, mainly just to keep it in place while it dries. Once you're happy with the shape and the size of the bottom of the dress, we're going to then create some of the lines that are in the front of Aurora's dress. So I'm just using the back of my stitching tool and I'm just drawing these lines straight up to the top of the dress. Next we're going to make the bodice of the dress. So I've taken some of my pink and I've just added a bit more fuchsia in it to make it a little bit darker, and we're going to create the top of the dress. So you can see I'm rolling sort of like a rectangle shape and softening the area out, and I've created an indentation halfway up which is going to create the breast area of the figure. Putting another cocktail stick in just to give it a bit more support, and then I'm going to stick the top of the bodice on, and then we're going to create a line up the middle of that, just using the back of the stitching tool again. So just ever so slightly just create your lines, and then I would leave this to dry whilst you're working on the upper body and the face. I've stuck another cocktail stick in the middle, and that's just going to allow me to have some support for the neck and the shoulders. So I've got some of my Saraceno and I'm just creating the neck and the shoulder shape. So basically I start off with a rectangle and then I'm just pinching the middle of that rectangle up to create the neck, trimming off any excess and softening those areas again. You just need to keep working on that to get the correct shape, using the brush just to create the lines that would be in the neck, and then we're just going to attach that with a little bit of water and stick it on. Next we're going to work on the face, so the same colour as the shoulders that we made in the neck, and you're going to roll sort of like an egg shape. Once you've rolled the egg shape, we're going to create a line across the middle, and this is going to be where the eyes then go. So I'm just taking off any creases that are there, and you're just going to soften that line with your fingers and take it in at the side. So you're just creating a bit of an oblong shape at the minute, using your fingers to create the eye sockets, and then pinching up for the mouth area and the nose. And then I've just got a veiner tool that I'm going to use just to take in the sides of the nose a little bit. Just using my fingers and my thumbs just to smooth over that area, and the back of a brush just to smooth over the forehead area because you don't want that to come out more than the nose. Putting in the nostril marks with a really fine brush, and then you're just going to go around the nose with the soft brush. This is a Serrat brush. I'll put a link for that in the description box for you. And just re-going over the forehead and using your fingers just to create the eye sockets again. So you can see I'm just smoothing out that nose area, making sure that there's no ridges before I put the mouth in. So with the mouth I've got my scalpel tool and I'm going to create a line across and use that just to lift out the top lip, and you can see I'm just going to push that with my finger, and that's going to create the top lip. Now with the mouth, for the bottom lip, you're just going to put your brush either side and then push up, and that's going to create the bottom lip. And then using the same tool as before we're just going to push those areas in at the side, and that's going to give a nice shape to the bottom lip. Now with the top lip, you want to smooth away from the lip. So you can see I'm just using the tool there just to smooth away, and that's going to create the definition between the top lip and the cheeks. So you can see I'm just pushing up with my finger just around the bottom lip area, and I'm creating the line in the middle there for the Cupid's bow just with the back of the modelling tool. You can use it to push the top lip up a little bit if you wanted to give a thicker top lip. And then we're just going to remove any excess from the face. So you can see I'm just coming down with my brush and pulling it outwards, reshaping the chin while I'm going. So you can go over the face as many times as you want. And then I'm just going to trim away any excess, smoothing out the areas that I've just trimmed off. And then I'm just going to go back in with my scalpel and just go over the lines at the side of the mouth, going upwards slightly just to create more of a smile. So at any point you feel that the lines have been blurred or you need to just re-go over any parts, you can do that. The really good thing about the Saraceno modelling paste is that it does stay quite workable for a while. With it having chocolate in there, it takes longer to set than normal modelling paste. So once you're happy with the general shape, if you get a balling tool and just redefine the eye area and the nose bridge, and then we're just going to re-go over the bottom of the jaw and just take off any more excess that you feel needs to come off. If you want to twist it to make a neck area, and then when we trim that off, that's going to be the area that sticks into the cocktail stick that's coming off the shoulders and the neck area. So I'm just smoothing out any areas and going over the chin area again. And then just redefining the lip section of the face, going over the bottom lip. You can spend quite a while doing this just to get it how you want. We're going to trim out the area for the eyes. So always remember that the bottom of the eye needs to come up on an angle because it's never straight across. And we're just going to flick out any excess that we've got from there, and then just re-smooth that over with the same tool that we've been using for the detail of the face. The hardest part is getting the eye the same on the other side. You can, once this is done, re-stretch the areas just to try and make them more symmetrical if needed. And then we're going to get some of our white Saraceno and we're going to roll some little rice grains and pop them in the eye sockets. Again, using the same tool that we've used just to push into place and just smoothing out the top area. Once you've done both eyes, we're then going to add some blues. So I've just taken some of my modelling paste and just coloured it a really light blue and rolled out two similar dots. These need to be quite thin because again you don't want them to stand off from the eye, and we're just going to attach these with a little bit of water. Try to get them in the same position for both eye. And just push them into place with your modelling tool. Once you're happy with the position of those, we're then going to paint them. So I've just taken some, I think this is either aqua or turquoise, and I'm going to do the outline of the eye first, and then once the outline is done, we're then going to take a drier brush and then pull that colour into the middle, and it just gives a really nice effect on the eye. You may need to just touch up the outside area if you wanted it a little bit darker. And then once you're happy with the eye colour, we're then going to go on and paint the lipstick. Now Aurora has quite pale pink lipstick on, so I've just got my baby pink Sugar Flare and just painting that on for the lips. Once you're happy with the lips, we're then going to dust on some colour for the cheeks. So I've just taken a shimmer pink colour and you can see I'm just brushing that on the cheeks and a little bit on the chin and the middle of the forehead. And then we're going to take some really small pieces of black and we're just going to stick those in the middle of the eyes. So try to get them both similar sizes and just place them in similar positions in the eye. Reposition those with the veiner tool if you need to. And then we're going to go on and we're going to put the whites of the eyes in. So the whites I've rolled out are quite small and these need to go in the same position on both eye. Just push them again into place, and then once you're happy with that, we're going to go on to the eyeliner. So with the eyeliner you can see that I've just got some of my black modelling paste and we're going to roll it so it's quite thin at one side, and we're just going to push that into place and trim off any excess. And then using the back of your veining tool, we're just going to push the line in to give the flick. And you're going to do the same for the other side. We're going to create the bottom lid, just using again a little bit of the skin tone modelling paste. And you're just going to put that on the same way and trim off any excess. And then you're going to use the modelling tool just to pull down that line and just blend that in a little bit. Once you're happy with the blend that you've got, we are going to create the eyelashes. I like to do 2, so there's 3 in total. You've got the flick and then the 2 other little eyelashes. Now these are really tiny bits of black fondant. You can paint them on if you feel comfortable painting those on. But basically you want to roll just tiny little bits of fondant that are thicker at one side than the other, and then you're just going to apply a little bit of water and then push them into place. They do want to be spread out a little bit, and just trimming off any excess if need be. So you can see I'm just taking a tiny bit off there. And then we're going to go on and we're going to just paint in a darker brown the line for the lower lid. Now I prefer to paint like a darker line and then take off any excess. I just think it gives it a bit more of a natural look. So you can see I've put it on and then I've taken off a lot that's been there. And then we're going to take a lighter brown, and this is what we're going to use for the eyebrow area. So starting off at the widest part of the nose, which is the nostril at the bottom, and creating a line there, and we're going to go up to, near the colour of the outline of the eye, and then we're going to come back down again. I find it better to paint on one line and then try to thicken it up a little bit, and taking off any excess with a wet brush, and then just re-going over the line just to give it a little bit more shape. Once you've done the same for both eyes, we're then going to stick on the ears, so just small little balls, and using the back of the brush just to push that in to the side of the face. Once you're happy with your face, we're going to attach it to the head. So wetting the cocktail stick and just the top of the neck, and we're just going to push that in place. Position it so you're happy with the angle that it's looking at. Here's what you should have so far. I don't know why the light on the camera is going lighter and darker, so I'm sorry about that. Next we're going to work on the arm. So I've just taken some of the same fondant and we're going to roll a sausage shape and flatten one side. The flattened side is going to be the hand, and then we're going to twist that between our fingers just to create the wrist area. So you can see I'm just rolling it out to make it thinner for the wrist. And then rolling out the rest of the arm. And we're going to cut the thumb area out. So you want to cut a triangle, which is going to create the thumb. And then just some off the other side so that the hand is flat. It's not rounded at that side. Trim off the top at an angle. And then you're just going to smooth over the top to bring it in a little bit. Softening the edges. And then we're going to trim off any excess. We're going to create a line in the middle of the arm, which is going to create the crease and the inside of the elbow. And then we're just going to attach this using a little bit of water. Now I've got the pack of modelling paste behind my figure, not to prop it up, but the dummy that I was using was coming a bit front heavy, so it's just to stop it from tipping over. And then you're going to create the same for the other arm. And we're going to attach that in the same way. I'm going to put the hands so they're slightly crossed at the front of the body. And you don't have to worry too much about that join because we are going to cover that anyway. So I forgot that Aurora's dress actually came down onto the arms. So I'm having to cover these over with pink modelling paste. I've gone about it the long way. Ideally what I should have done is before I stuck the arms on the body, I would have covered the arms in the fondant, just so that it wraps around easily. But this is the way that I did it. So I just cut out the fondant and I pushed it into the creases and over the hands, and then I trimmed off the excess. Now you could, if you wanted to, sort of roll a pink arm and shape it like the dress and then stick the hand underneath that if you wanted to. But I think covering it was the best option. It's just that I would have ideally done it off the figure rather than on the figure. So you can just push it into all the creases. You can see I'm just taking a bit of a wet brush just to push the rest into place. And then you're going to do the same with the other arm. We're then going to create the line, the white bit of Aurora's dress. So just taking some of my white modelling paste, and you're going to roll it so it comes to a point at either end and it's fatter in the middle. And the point is going to come to meet in the middle of the dress. It's going to wrap around the shoulder and then meet at the back of the dress. And so you're going to create two of these shapes, one for one shoulder and one for the other. And you want to flatten the sides as well. So you can see that I'm flattening them, adding a little bit of water, and then we're just going to push that into place. Once that bit's on and you're happy, you can then go ahead and place the other side on. Again, just using a little bit of water. And you're just going to push it into place and wrap it around the shoulder and stick it down. And you should have something that looks like this. And then we're going to move on to the hair. So the hair I have coloured in Sugar Flares Honey Gold, and I'm rolling sort of like a cone shape, and I'm flattening it rather than leaving it round. So you can see it's pointy at one end and fatter at the other. Just flatten it with my fingers, and then I'm just twisting and creating a little bit of a curl. Now, because I'm doing this with Saraceno, I'm creating the curls and I'm leaving them to dry a little bit, just because it can get quite hot in this when you're making hair, so it gets quite sticky and it gets quite stretchy. So by leaving it to cool, you're letting it form into that shape before you stick it on the head. So I'm going to trim off the excess off the top of the hair, and then we're going to attach this to the head, just using a little bit of water. Always start at the bottom of the neck, attaching the hair to the bottom of the neck and the head, and then using a little bit of water to attach it to the dress. That's just going to give it a little bit of stability. And then you're just going to build up the hair from this point, so creating many of the same shapes and then attaching them to the head. So I prefer to do my hair in smaller groups of maybe 3 or 5 strands, and then that way I'm not making too much hair that's just going to get wasted. So creating the same sort of shapes for the next layer of hair, and you want to position that in between the hair that you've just put on, so they're not all on top of each other, but you're separating it off a little bit. And again, you're trimming off any excess and then placing it on the head, and you're going to build the hair in this way until you get right to the top, and then we're going to work on putting the fringe into place and the sides of the hair. So you can see I'm just pushing it on and flattening it onto the head. The head should be dry enough now to take a little bit of pressure. And you're just pulling it round to come onto the shoulders if you're wanting it to, and sticking each part together with just a little bit of water. So for the front of Aurora's hair, she's got sort of like a curl that comes at the front. So we're going to take a smaller piece of the fondant and we're just going to wrap that circle round, and that's going to create that curl that she's got at the front. So you can see I've just pulled the curl over the fattest part of the fondant, and then she's also got the fringe at the other side. So I've just rolled out a sausage and flattened it down at one side. I've got some scissors and I've just cut in some lines that define the fringe a little bit, and then that's what we're going to use to stick on the other side of the curl that's on the front. So just trying it on the head for size, and then we're just going to attach this using a little bit of water. So you're just going to push it into place at the top, and then we're going to stick the curl on over the top of that. So you may need to flatten the fringe a little bit more, and then we're just going to stick that until you're happy with the positioning. So when you've finished, you should have something that looks like this. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's tutorial. If you have, don't forget to hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to see more of my videos, please click the links on the screen now. Thank you.